rate will be, but where our contamination level is. This is growing bigger and bigger. Cuyahoga County has a motion. They're going to ban plastic bags. They don't even do the services that we do. It's all done hodgepodge, municipal and private. But this is something that we're going to have to really start thinking about doing. My thought is, and I'm just going to throw out dates just so it's easier for me to tell the story. If by some chance we pass this and we say, okay, we pass this July or June 1st, then July 1st starts like a 90-day implementation. You know, we make people aware, we educate them. Hey, this is what you can't do. You know, we'll tag carts, but then at a certain point we have to draw a line for not picking up carts. I mean, we've just in the last week we've had towels, we've had wood. You know, this all adds up to the contamination level, and I'm sure that as the industry moves forward, the contamination levels you're allowed are going to continue to shrink because they want it cleaner. And so I just think it's better to be proactive instead of reactive, because contamination does cost us a lot of money. And it has the potential to really cost us a lot of money.
And like I said, the only big question I had was on, just so Vicki and Kathleen know, is 3.4 under violations for contamination. It says the fourth offense, recycling would be suspended for 6 months with continued payment for service. I told Bill he needs to verify that we can legally do that. I mean, if we're not providing a service, should we still be charging for that service? So, I don't know, Chris, if you can check into that.
Tim has been looking into that, and we can do that, sure.
Okay. Oh, you can look into it, not that we can charge without providing services?
Yeah, we'll look into that.
Okay,
further.
yeah, that's the only real thing, other than I'm disappointed that I can't put my container on top of my snow pile anymore. Just kidding.
Yeah, the yards only have so much reach.
But the interesting part, and I guess maybe I didn't realize this, was you have a barcode that permits the district to determine the participation rates and stuff?
Yeah, when we put this program in place, that was part of the EPA plan. And unfortunately, I wasn't happy with the results from the technology, because when everyone got their cart, we noticed that the trucks were picking up a lot more carts. And so I took Ravenna here for example. John Bell is the Ravenna driver. And so every morning, the following morning, I'd get a report, this truck picked up X amount of carts across the district. So when John came in, I said, John, I just can't believe that you only picked up 350 carts in Ward 1 of Ravenna. It's just not adding up. He says, yeah. He says, I know I picked up a lot more, because just about every house was out. So we contacted the vendor and said, you know, this isn't adding up. We're noticing that across the district, that even in Kent, Brimfield, the bigger, you know, the areas, the numbers are low. And, you know, we got every excuse, but, you know, let us come out and take a look. And I just said, you know what, we're just not gonna pay for the technology. If it's not gonna work, there's no sense in paying for it. So I notified the EPA, said, hey, it's not working, we've tried it. If they come up with a better mousetrap, we may do it again. But I just can't have unreliable numbers. I'll send the guys out with one of those, you know, round counters, you know, if I have to. Because it was our hope to be able to capture the participation rates, but it was just, it just did not work.
Okay. Well, right now, Bill, if they're not participating, are we charging them?
All of our contracts have mandatory
That's what I
clauses.
thought. So that goes back to the question, you know, I guess we could charge them.
Yeah, I mean, there are people that they may put it out once a month, they may put it out every other week. Depends upon how full it gets. I know at my house, it depends upon how full it is this week. If I put it out, you know, if I think I can make it 2 weeks, then I'm just not gonna drag it down the driveway, put it out.
But the difference there is they're opting not to use the service. We're not suspending the service and expecting them to still pay for something.
Yeah, I'm hoping after 2 occurrences and letting everyone know this is what's acceptable beforehand, we can really minimize that. That's our goal.
And you know, this is a small thing. We talked about this before, glass. I think glass was acceptable and it wasn't, now it is. And is that because we got so much pushback, Bill? And I'll tell you why I'm asking that, because I still put my glass now in the trash, because I just feel if it's
Yeah.
costing us money, I don't want to
Well,
do it.
we had the meeting with Waste Management, and I said, okay, I need to know, are we in or are we out here? Because I have our contract that says these items are acceptable. We've written our contracts based upon the processing contract. So a lot of this is coming from what's happening in Summit County. Akron has just said no glass. That has caused Waste Management to kind of step back and take a deep breath, going, why? Because for Waste Management, what they do is they take the glass that's, our glass, for example, it is trucked to just outside of Pittsburgh. And if you ever see the reflective striping on the roads, that's glass.
Yeah.
And that's what this company does. So they have an outlet for it, it's a 3-hour trip there with a full truck, 3-hour trip back with an empty truck, not a moneymaker. And it all breaks down to transportation. It would be different if that company was maybe in Akron, that might flip it, but the important thing is, it's still recycled. In glass, the only way the district actually turned glass to a positive was when we started transporting our own. And we just don't have that capability.
I have some questions about the policy. Bill, can you go over the process for you to get this approved? Is this something we approved and
It's-
your solid waste?
No, it would be just the board. You know, the policy committee is known through the plan process that contamination's becoming an issue. You know, it's getting more and more play because of the markets. We're fortunate here that we're in the Midwest because we're not getting material landfill. Waste Management has an outlet for everything. It's just, we will be charged extra for anything over, like right now, our percentage for contamination is 20%. It's probably gonna drop down to 10 or 15. And then anything over 15%, it could be as high as $120, $150 a ton to dispose of that beyond the normal residue that can't be recycled. So that's why we've really got to let the public know, because there's a lot of, you know, there's just been a lot of misinformation. Because I know when the Beacon Journal would print something, our phones would ring. You know, they thought what happened in Summit County was going on in Portage County.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot of time back and forth with them.
And then on the items permitted in the cart, the 2.6,
Mhm.
is there a reason that we list glass as a type of fiber? Or
You know
should
what?
that be its own?
You know what? That was a brain burp. I'll
Okay.
fix that.
Okay, I think that'll be clearer
Yeah.
for the public.
Yeah, I'll just make that its own, like, 2.6, or I'll make that a .5.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
And also, have you ever seen a pizza box with no grease stains?
Believe it or not, yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Possible.
Yeah, it is possible.
Sometimes they'll put the paper underneath
Yeah.
the pizza.
Yeah,
Okay.
and those are generally the establishments I tend to patronize because, number one, it's good pizza, and number
Yeah.
two, you know, it saves me from carrying the box in half.
I thought the more grease the better.
No, it kind of ruins the second day taste in the morning, you know?
Well, I asked about this before because you think about it, some people get the frozen pizzas that come in a container, and I didn't know, because it's got a waxier type, if that affected recycling, but you said no.
And then, Bill, I think that is a helpful change, and I think it's good on 2.8 to refer people to the website.
Yeah.
I think though, if you could do a thorough review of all the places where you post this, because I
Yeah.
know, just for example, if you go to portagerecycles.com/single stream, there's no mention that we recycle glass or plastic.
Okay, wait a minute.
And I actually circled the no 3 to 7.
Right.
There is a place on the website where it says we take 5s and 7s.
Right.
Which that's not right, is it? The 5s
Well-
and 7s?
Numbers 3 through 7,
Yeah,
plastics.
that's one of the things, right now, the 3 through 7s is like 1.5% of the mix. And And what we wanna do is, so it's really at no cost to us, but I don't wanna see people, people get confused, like, the great big play toys that you buy for children, step two, the little tight stuff. That's not recyclable through our process. What I don't wanna do is have people putting a bunch of stuff in there that really isn't recyclable. So we really need to kind of clarify that 3 through 7, what the parameters are.
Yeah.
Is this the way we should put it in policy?
Yeah, again, what I wanna do is, I also wanna sit down and make sure our processor is comfortable with this too.
Okay.
I just need to schedule that meeting with them and say, this is what we're looking at doing. Are you comfortable with what we're going to say can be put in it? Because I don't wanna all of a sudden, 3 months, have them say, hey, wait a minute, maybe we shouldn't have had this in here. I just wanna have this a one and done kind of thing.
Okay, well, let's keep an eye on making sure we're
Yeah.
consistent on
Right,
that. And
yeah.
then I know too, the Earth Day ad, I think didn't mention glass.
Yeah, I
So.
barely glanced at the paper that day.
I understand, but,
Yeah.
let's try to
Yeah, and that's no
be
offense to
fair to
Record
the
Courier,
public
but
about
it's
what is.
Right.
So, because that will help your contamination
Yep.
problem as well, if they know what they can put in. I had the same question about the second and third offenses. I wasn't sure if we were allowed to do that,
Yeah.
so I'm glad we're gonna do a check. And those were all of my concerns.
Okay. Is there anything else for the board?
Yeah.
Yes, I would like to go into executive session to talk about G1.
Employment? What are you looking at?
Employment of a public employee. So motion to go into executive session for G1, employment of a public employee.
Okay, I will second.
Roll call aim. Kathleen?
Yes.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Vicki? Yes.